not the Big Bang. God is the true origin of the universe. Today we will feel deeply that God is all around us, for He Himself is Alpha and Omega, which means He is the beginning and the end, the beginning and the end. This means that the King Jesus Christ is the cause and the end of all things. NASA recently launched the James Webb Space Telescope, the largest and most expensive telescope ever built. It took 6 months to travel more than 1 million kilometers from Earth, find a permanent place in space, and then begin transmitting images back to Earth. Photos that we have never seen before. They will hopefully allow us to look beyond the universe, ideally to the very ends of our growing universe, down to the very first particles of matter that came out of the primordial explosion, the Big Bang, which opened our time and universe. Scientists estimate our universe is 13.7 billion years old. According to the knowledge we have now, before that, nothing existed except God. Then, from that void, there was the Big Bang, from which all things in the universe, including our planet Earth, arose. As with any explosion, the parts that are most attached to the force of the explosion are those that are fired the furthest. Therefore, when investigators try to determine the cause of the explosion, they pay special attention to finding and examining the pieces that are most closely tied to the original force of the explosion, and often those that are fired the furthest. The force of the Big Bang is still unfolding, and the parts of our universe most closely tied to its starting point are still being pushed farther and farther into space. Scientists are investigators, looking into that primordial explosion. The James Webb Space Telescope hopes to help us see the original parts of the unimaginable explosion that gave birth to the universe, because these parts have existed from the beginning, at the origin of all things, existing. By seeing and examining them, science hopes to better understand the origins of our universe. Seeing scientists excited and hoping this telescope will show us images of particles dating back to the beginning can help us understand why John couldn't contain his excitement. Fervently speaking of Jesus in his first letter, John is excited about Jesus because God has been there from the beginning of the universe, and the truth is, He is the beginning of all things. For John, Jesus is the mystical telescope through which we can see the primordial explosion that created the universe, for Jesus was present when it happened. Let me venture to interpret the opening of John's first letter 1:1-4 as written for a generation of us curious about the origin of the universe. You need to understand who or what I am talking about. Jesus wasn't just a miracle worker or even a man raised from the dead. We are talking about the one who existed at the ultimate source of creation, who is the foundation of that creation, who was with God when the Big Bang happened, and even before that, yet we see Him in the flesh with our eyes. The God who created the Big Bang is walking among us. We actually touched His body. We actually talked to Him and heard Him say that He is the one who existed at the origin of our universe, when the Big Bang happened. Indeed, He is the one who initiated that process, with a plan for it, a plan that includes us. Would you like to dig deeper into what happened at our beginning? Jesus is a mystical telescope for us to look through. After all, He existed from the beginning, and yet we see, hear, and touch Him. Forgive me for being too excited, but we walked together and talked with the one who has existed since the beginning of time. There are different types of knowledge and different types of wisdom, along with different paths to learning. Science is one of those important paths. For a long time, theology and religion have not seen science as friends. This was and is a fatal mistake because science has the same starting point and intention as theology and religion. Theology and religion are wrong every time they try to downplay the importance of science or claim to hold the truth alone. Sadly, science also often responds and views theology and religion as enemies rather than allies. The two sides need each other, not just to understand the origins and intentions of this universe. How do we understand the origin and purpose of this universe? Science and Jesus. Science is looking to these origins to tell us how it happened, and Jesus, present when it happened, wants to tell us why it happened and what it means. And that's the end of today's episode. We sincerely thank you for watching today's video. As always, if you like our videos, please leave a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell to stay up to date with exciting happenings. We hope to see you again next time. Until then, be careful and be safe.